Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Frivolous Writer, where you can join me on this journey of writing my very first novel. I'm so excited to have you all here. Thank you, thank you, thank you to those of you who are joining again. And today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's time for me to read a chapter from my very first draft of my novel. I'm working through it. I've currently completed 13 chapters on my novel, which is bananas. This is amazing. It's the furthest I've ever gotten. But before I jump into that, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, for your likes, your comments, for those of you who are cheering me on. Last week was rough. I know I shared last Friday about anxiety and the anxiety that I've been feeling and experiencing in trying to complete writing this novel. And I got real vulnerable. I shared some things with everybody that were kind of uncomfortable for me. But, I think what I've learned through this experience is that in those moments when that voice in my head gets real loud, the best thing I can do is share it. So either write it down in my journal or talk about it here on this channel, because if I am experiencing it, the chances are that someone else out there is as well. And so hopefully it inspired somebody out there to not give up, to continue working through whatever they're experiencing or struggling with, and get back to the thing that matters most in this moment. For me, that's continuing writing. When I set out on this journey of starting this channel and sharing what I'm experiencing and going through, it really was because I wanted to create a community of people who were probably in a similar situation as I am, and especially was. I'm getting better of really wanting to tell this story that's been percolating in my brain and my soul for years, but not knowing how to get started or not believing in myself enough to continue the journey. I've started many, many times, but not really knowing what to do or what skills I had and how to get the words from my mind onto paper. And so I figured the best way to do this is by actually just keeping myself accountable and starting a channel and sharing those most vulnerable moments with everyone else, because I feel like getting started is very difficult, but it's not just the start. It's actually the follow through, the dedication, the consistency, and making sure that no matter what, I write. And so I started this channel, and here we are. I think 15 episodes, 16. I think this is 16 episodes later. Wild. And the engagement that I've been getting has been amazing. Thank you to everyone for your comments and your feedback and your helpful hints, and for reaching out and asking me to help you with your pieces that you're writing, because there is nothing more satisfying than knowing that I am helping someone else achieve their goals as well. And I just want anybody watching this and everybody watching this to know that if you have any feedback, if you have anything that you think could help me help improve, comment below. I'm super into that. It actually drives me to want to keep going. It keeps me accountable on this journey that is uncomfortable and hard, and but so satisfying and rewarding. So thank you to all of those of you that are doing that now. And I just want to keep that going. There are more things that I'm working on, so stay tuned for more. I've gotten some great ideas from some of you already. So I love the direction that this is going, and I love the back and forth that I'm getting with all of you. So thank you. And we are just another one thing before we start reading the channel, or before I start reading my chapter. We are getting real close to November, and so you know what that means. NaNoWriMo. If you are not writing yet, or you have plans to write for the National Novel Writing Month, just start your plot now. Start outlining, even though you might be a pantser. Uh, Learn from my mistakes. Just giving a quick outline. I am a pantser. I need to allow the story to tell me what it is, and I think that's just more fun, and it keeps writing interesting and fun for me. But what I found is that for me to be effective and use my time effectively, I just need a rough outline. So what is this piece of the book, whether it's a chapter or a piece of a chapter, what are the events that need to happen? That's all I write. That's literally my outline, and I have it here, right here for everybody. So that way I can just make sure that I'm hitting the pieces that I wanted to make. So for those of you who are pantsers, that's what I would recommend. But I want to see and hear from all of you. So make sure you comment below if you're going to be participating in NaNoWriMo. But with that, everybody, I wanted to share where I'm at. So this is chapter 7. We just heard in the last Tuesday's episode that Conrad was very excited. He went to Maya to explain to her that he has this new ability, that he's realizing what's happening and he feels like he can kind of control it. But he went, and turns out he wasn't successful. So now Maya has sent him home. He's now back in his house, and this is where he's going. I'm trying to explore a little bit more on world building. The feedback that I've been getting so far is that I need to spend a little bit more time, which I already knew because my chapters were super short, just a little bit more time on showing instead of telling. And so I'm exploring with that a little bit. So I want you guys to be gentle on my artist that is coming out in this chapter. But I wanted to share this with you. So without any further delay, here we are. Chapter 7. The morning sunlight pressed faintly against the blinds, a thin strip of gold cutting across Conrad's room. He hadn't slept much. Every time he closed his eyes, his mind replayed the look on Maya's face, the way her brows pinched, her lips parted slightly, ready to say something but deciding against it. She didn't believe him. Of course she didn't. He barely believed himself. He rolled onto his side and stared at the wall, tracing the faint cracks in the paint with his eyes. It was the same wall he used to stare at when he and Eli pulled all-nighters gaming, when life felt normal, before shadows appeared and voices whispering things he couldn't explain. Now the silence of his room felt like it was waiting for him to admit something he wasn't ready to. His phone buzzed once on the nightstand. For a second his heart jumped. Maybe Maya had texted. Maybe she wanted to talk. Maybe she'd changed her mind. But it was just a news alert. He didn't even read it before tossing the phone face down again. He let out a long breath and rubbed his face with both hands. What was he doing? He had powers, if that's what they were, but they didn't even work when he needed them to. He couldn't control them. He couldn't explain them. After last night, he wasn't sure if he wanted to even try anymore. The memory came in fragments. Maya sitting cross-legged on the floor, arms folded, watching him expectantly. Him sitting there, eyes shut, trying to concentrate, trying to feel that pulse again, that strange current that hummed through him. Nothing happened. The harder he tried, the emptier he felt, until the silence became unbearable. Then she said something that twisted inside him. Maybe you just imagined it, Conrad. Imagined it. He could still hear her voice in his head, soft, cautious, careful not to hurt him, but still cutting deeper than she realized. Maybe she was right. Maybe it was all in his head. Conrad rolled onto his back, staring at the ceiling now, his chest tight. He could almost hear Eli's voice too, teasing him, daring him to prove it. But Eli wasn't here. Eli was gone. A dull ache built behind his eyes. He hadn't cried, but he could feel it pressing at the edges again. He swallowed it down. Crying wouldn't help. He needed to think. He needed to do something. But what? He turned his head towards the blinds again, watching dust drift through the beam of sunlight. Maybe he should tell someone else. The police, his mom, anyone. But what would he even say? Hi, I can teleport sometimes, but only when I'm terrified? Yeah, that'll go over real well. He pressed the heels of his palms against his forehead and exhaled. Get it together, he muttered to himself. But even as he said it, another voice echoed faintly underneath, one that didn't sound like his own. You're a joke. He froze. The sound wasn't external. It was inside his head, soft but sharp like a whisper through glass. You made it all up. She saw the truth. You're pathetic. Conrad's pulse quickened. He squeezed his eyes shut. Shut up, he whispered, but it didn't stop. She doesn't believe you. She never did. His hands trembled slightly as he sat up in bed. His breath came faster, chest rising and falling like he'd been running. He grabbed his phone again, gripping it tightly. Maybe a distraction would help. But the screen stayed dark, reflecting his own face back at him, pale and uncertain. The voice faded, leaving behind a heavy silence. He sat there, staring at his reflection, trying to steady his breathing. Maybe he was losing it. Maybe Maya was right. That voice in Conrad's head was getting louder and more clear. This morning, when he first woke up, it was there, telling him that Maya doesn't like him, that he should feel ashamed. Who do you think you are? You're no superhero. You're crazy. Maya thinks you're crazy. You should never have told her. You're so stupid, Conrad said to himself, acknowledging the feelings that came over him and as that voice echoed in his head. He believed what it was saying. Maya did tell him that she didn't want him to lose him as a friend. Did she mean she was thinking that they couldn't be friends? Conrad wasn't sure if that was his voice in his head or the voice of that thing that might help guide him. Conrad started to get ready for his day, slowly making his way out of bed. As he was in the shower, he started thinking again of that night before. He was questioning himself. What was real? What wasn't? Maybe he shouldn't have told Maya. As he was replaying the events in the lab with the Shadow Man and the conversation with Maya, he realized he was talking out loud, having a full conversation with himself. What he said, what he shouldn't have said, what Maya would have said if he had said this or that. It caught him off guard, and he stopped suddenly, allowing the warm water to wash over his body, the comfort that provided. He closed his eyes and focused on that comfort. He felt safe. That voice had stopped. His own voice stopped. He was present in that moment. And for just a moment, he had forgotten about his best friend not being there. He had forgotten about the Shadow Man and his own newfound abilities. He had forgotten about Maya, how he couldn't show her these abilities. Nothing else existed in that moment but himself and that feeling of the hot water running down his body. He was at peace. Conrad! His mother's voice rang out in the house. He was shot back into reality. He jolted his head towards the bathroom door as if he would see his mother standing there. She wasn't. He quickly turned off the water and got dried off to see what his mom wanted. What? He leaned his head out the door to the bathroom that was opened just enough for his head to poke out. Come downstairs, his mom yelled back in response. Conrad made his way to his mother, who was standing in the living room with her phone in her hand and her arms folded in front of her chest. She had a look of concern and possibly anger on her face, but Conrad wasn't quite sure how to decipher that expression. What? Conrad said with the uncertainty of a child who wasn't sure if they would be punished or not. Did you go to Maya's last night? He started to panic. Should he lie? Should he tell the truth? A noise left his mouth and resembled the beginning of words, but no actual words came out. He was desperately trying to think about what to say that would get him into the least amount of trouble. Listen, I know you did, so don't lie to me. His mom was being stern, but he also detected some warmth in her tone as well. I did, but I just needed to show her something. He was cut off. Did she come back with you? His mom cut in, interrupting him. No. Conrad wasn't sure where this question was coming from. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. She told me to go home, so I did. Why? Now Conrad was starting to become concerned. Has she called or texted you today? His mom continued with the questions. No. Are you sure? Yes, positive. Why? I just got off the phone with Maya's mom. She said Maya isn't there. She's very worried, Conrad. If you know anything at all, you need to tell me. What? Conrad was just as worried and confused. He genuinely was having difficulty comprehending what was happening. Are you sure she didn't tell you anything? Did she say she was going anywhere? Were you planning anything? No, I promise. Then why did you go? I was thinking about Eli, and I wanted to talk. It was half true. He knew that any talk about Eli would stop the barrage of questions from his mom. Plus, he learned his lesson after last night. He wasn't going to tell his mom that he can teleport. And she didn't tell you she might be going somewhere or doing something this morning. His mom's tone became more motherly and comforting and less stern. No. She told me that I was being crazy and that I needed to go home and get some sleep. That's all she said. I promise. Conrad was stunned. He was in disbelief. There were so many feelings all at once. He wished he was still in the shower, feeling the ecstasy of quietness as the hot water was washing over him. So, the end of chapter 7. I explored a little bit more about building the scene and showing instead of telling, building in some of the things that were happening around Conrad instead of just telling what he was feeling or what he was experiencing and all of that. Also, I don't know if you caught it, but there's a little bit of a plot hole that I have changed. I'm thinking about changing some of the things that happened because as I'm moving through the story, there's things I want to have happen that I would have written myself out of if I would have stayed to the original story. So I want to make sure that I'm leaving those things open, but I am taking note of these plot holes in case I want to fix them or change them down the road. But here we are, first draft, chapter 7, and I'm continuing on. I'm feeling a lot more energetic about this week than I was last week. A lot less anxiety about about finishing the story, and I think that a lot of that anxiety actually was coming from the pressure I was putting on myself to make sure that I finished, make sure that I was writing every single day. And those days that I didn't write, it was making me rethink and go, oh my God, maybe this isn't what I want to do. Maybe this isn't the right story. And all of those doubting thoughts that I was experiencing. So, and that coincidentally, that Conrad experiences too. I just want to say again, thank you for all of you who are joining me on this journey, for all of your comments and awesome feedback, and really for the inspiration and motivation to keep going. I am writing again every day, trying every day, but sometimes it looks a little different. So I'm kind of pulling away from that 1,500 word goal for myself and more just going to that feeling of sitting down, processing my thoughts, writing them into some kind of a story, continuing this story. I'm excited to see where this is going. I'm excited to continue reading this for you guys and seeing what you guys think about this. So with that, I will leave that here. I will join you all on Friday. I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but I think I want to talk about plot holes. But if there's anything that and how to kind of fix these plot holes or what I'm doing to take note to make sure that I'm able to come back. But if there's anything that's on your minds, any troubles that you're coming across or difficulties you're coming across, or anything that you would like me to cover on what my process is or how I'm overcoming some of these things that I'm experiencing in this journey of writing my first novel, because I know that many of you are on that journey as well. And just remember, if you're feeling it, if you're thinking it, if you're going through it, chances are someone watching this has also gone through it. I know from experience that I am going through a lot of these things, and those of you who have shared what you're going through and commenting on my videos, and we've been in contact through email, etc. I know that you're experiencing a lot of the same things. And so actually that's so helpful to me to know that I'm not alone. So with that, everybody, I hope you have an incredible rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.